Okay. Now, regarding the IQ impairments, we said that we are doing multiplication with cos 2 pi of ct, sin 2 pi of ct, summing and transmitting. Similarly, on the RS, we are doing the opposite of that. So, what if the gains of, let's say, gain here is A, gain here is B, and A is not equal to B? What if the angle is theta here, or let's say if the angle is some deviating by theta and some, say, theta 1 here, theta 2, then it leads to quadrature scale. So this is difference in gain and phase of I and Q. Perfect. I hope I am audible and visible.
Yeah.
Fine. So this was the reason, or this is the source of IQ impairments here, that because of the difference in gain and phase. And yeah, similar stuff can happen on the receiver side also. Similar stuff can happen here. Now, let's try to understand its signal model. So let me write it like this. If this is the I branch, this is the Q branch. Here I am doing multiplication by my LO. Okay. Fine. And this is finally the YN. Okay. So assume that gain in this branch is alpha, gain in this branch is beta, and some phase shift in ith branch is theta by 2, and in Q branch it is minus theta by 2. So the total phase shift in I and Q is actually theta by 2 minus theta by 2. It is theta. I can take, we can take 0 and theta also, but yeah, just to show some symmetry, or just in the analysis, I have taken theta by 2 and minus theta by 2. So the relative phase shift between I and Q is theta. And we can, in that way, we can actually write our received or the transmitted signal or the impaired signal. I'll say impaired signal here because that can be applicable to both Tx and Rx. So Xin will be multiplied by gain alpha and phase shift e to the power j theta by 2. Similarly, Xq, gain beta, and because of the phase shift, it is e to the power minus j theta. Now let's try to write it in terms of Xn, because till now we have written them in terms of Xi and Xq. So there is a relation Xi is equals to Xn plus X conjugate n by 2. Right? And similarly, Xqn we can write Xn minus X conjugate n by 2j. So let's put them here. Alpha e to the power j theta by 2 Xn plus X conjugate n by 2 plus beta e to the power minus j theta by 2 by 2j. Okay, so what it will be? 1 upon 2 alpha e to the power j theta by 2 plus beta e to the power minus j theta by 2 into Xn. Sorry, it will be j here also, plus alpha e to the power j theta by 2 minus beta e to the power minus j theta by 2. Yeah, it is some hard work. Okay, X star. Fine. So this is Yn. And yeah, just to use some shorthand notation, let's write it as mu times Xn plus, let's say, can you suggest some other symbol here? Gamma. Perfect. Gamma times X Hermitian or X conjugate. Okay, so this will actually be my impaired signal in time domain. Okay, so let's try to understand the implications of this, or how it is doing, what it is doing to my signal. So in time domain, what it is introducing. First, it is introducing, because now we should look on xn, because this was the ideal, this is the ideal signal. So first point, it is introducing some scaling. Second point, it is actually adding a scaled version of its conjugate part. Conjugate part. So this will be basically the distortion part. Okay, but it will be more intuitive to look this picture in terms of its frequency domain. Let's try to do that. Yn, what was our Yn? This, okay. So I'll take the FFT here because mu and gamma are not varying in time. Yeah. So there is one more important point that in literature, we can find the IQ impairments, which were alpha, beta, theta. Those could be frequency flat. This is category 1. Like across the whole bandwidth, their values are same. Category 2, they could be frequency selective also. Like they are varying across frequency. In this, I will just talk of this frequency flat case. Okay, so that's why they will be constant in frequency. So I can write like this. Plus, what it will be? This will be x star n minus k. If I take the FFT of x conjugate n, it is the mirrored, first of all mirrored and conjugate both. So it's like, so assume this to be the DC case or the 0th subcarrier. Also it will be the DC. So if some subcarrier is present at, let's say, 100th subcarrier, and assume n is equals to, I'll talk in terms of n. So what will be x n minus k? X n minus k will be n minus 100. Or basically it is just the mirror image across DC. Or it is like, if it is 100 from here, it will be 100 from here. That's the basic point I am trying to convey. Okay, so what it is showing me in frequency domain, that the signal is scaled and also distorted or interfered by its mirror frequency. Okay, so it is introducing scaling, and second, it is interference from image. I will say image / mirror subcarrier. This is the impact on the kth subcarrier. Any questions still here? Okay, if no, let me try. Okay, in this case, for this particular case, I have not included its estimation technique, but what I included, that I have written a small MATLAB code for this to show you that how we can see impact on its mirror or the image frequency. Okay, so let's run it. This is just an OFDM symbol for 100 megahertz, 30 kilohertz subcarrier spacing, and it is QPSK modulated. Yeah. So in first case, this GI is actually representing gain imbalance, which is alpha beta, or basically it is the, from this gain imbalance, I am calculating alpha and beta here, and from QS, I am calculating the theta value. Okay. Yeah, so for 0, when I'm not applying any IQ impairment. See, if we compare plot number 2 and 3, they look exactly similar. This is without any IQ impairment. This is with IQ impairment. Now let me apply 1 dB gain imbalance in 10 degree quadrature skew. Yeah, so theta is known as quadrature skew also. Can you recognize any difference? I think no. The reason is because it is fully filled signal. Like all subcarriers are filled. So its image will be overlapping with somewhere here. So yeah, if I go too deep on the scale or zoom in, we can actually see the impact. But yeah, to just see the impact easily, let's yeah. What in this case, what I did that I am only allocating 1/2 of the subcarriers. On left half, I am just allocating zeros. So in that case, because of IQ impairment, instead of zeros, there will be some non-zero number. Why? Because see, yeah, if my allocation is something like this, let's say this is DC, this is minus n by 2, and this is n by 2 minus 1. Okay, this will be my allocation. So I'm allocating zeros here, but I'm allocating some power here. So because of IQ impairment, see, if I analyze, let's say y of 100, which is somewhere here. So because of this, there is no impact here. But if I am analyzing 100 here, like DC plus 100, there will be some impact on this, which should be visible, because it will be zero. It will be 0 plus gamma x star n minus k. Okay, whatever it is, whatever n minus k is. Okay, so that should be visible. So let's see whether that is visible or not. I did the same here. First, let's see. Yeah. So this picture is actually showing me that my allocation is only in the left portion, and yeah, this is the with IQ impairment case. So yes, this is actually introducing some impairments in the unallocated region. And yes, obviously this magnitude will be lower because this is just interference. And yeah, if I vary my gain imbalance and quadrature skew, this will also change. Okay, so I have written some cases here, like for different allocations. We can run on both of them. This is another case where the allocation is only on the extreme right. Even this portion is also unallocated. So yes, impact is only on the mirror image part. So this mirror image is actually coming somewhere here. Okay, so let's again do that case. Maybe just fine. Yeah, so in this case, the allocation only in this. So mirror image will come somewhere here. So this is how it will look. Okay.